One customer, they're like, I don't care, use the bathroom anywhere. And then there's another customer where they're like, I can't believe you use that bathroom. How dare you do that? And so expectations from customers are constantly changing.
Welcome to Jobber's Masters of Home Service podcast, where successful business owners share their secrets for making your business more profitable and efficient. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester, owner of Charlottesville Lawn Care and Charlottesville Gutter Pros for the last 15 years. I truly believe that service entrepreneurs need to come together from different service industries and swap stories, share tips, and learn from each other. By getting together and sharing each other's successes and failures, we can help each other level up. And that's the mission of Masters of Home Service. On today's episode, we were talking about ensuring consistent work quality. Today, we have two great guests. We have Brandon Sewell, owner of Seal Pro Painting in Titusville, Florida. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And Kimberly Towers, owner of Red Rose Cleaning in Minneapolis.
Hi, thank you.
How do you guys go about making sure that the results that you give to your clients are the same every time?
For me, it really starts with my guys understanding the why behind what we do. For me, really things started to get better in that area when I established clear values for our business. When they don't have a clear understanding of why our work matters or why we do it, it's really difficult for them to deliver on the results.
That's great. I love emphasizing the why as well. I think that's probably like the number one most important thing to get consistency. But then next, I go with checklists all the way. So there's no excuse as to why you didn't perform something a certain way. I always say at our company, if I cleaned a room or if Mary cleaned a room, the client shouldn't be able to tell who cleaned it. You should just know that the red rose was there. And we just do that through checklists to keep consistency.
Yeah, I tell my employees something similar. When the client looks out the window when we pull up, they shouldn't care who's out there,
Exactly.
right? So let's dig a little bit deeper. How do you do that? Give some more examples to our listeners who are they might have 1 employee, 10 employees, and they're trying to make things better. What would you tell them?
So for me, it starts with how we bring employees in. They all get an onboarding process where we go through our employee policy manual, setting those expectations, having clear KPIs for each position is really important too.
We've been revisiting things and going back to being physically on the job and walking through each step of the process and seeing, okay, where do we need to add another checkbox? And then on top of that, it's just follow through. So even though I have the checklist, is the staff checking it off? Do they understand what each point really means? Do I need to be more descriptive? Do I need to add pictures to that checklist? So that's what we've been doing lately, is just really revisiting and following through on our processes and checklists.
And why should we care so much about delivering consistent results?
It's actually in our mission, is that people matter. We don't take it lightly that someone's inviting us in to work on their home. For many people, that's their greatest asset. That's where they keep the things that they've worked hard for. I kind of think of it like my own home. I would want my home to be respected and cared for. So for me, it's really important when our customers hire us, they're putting their trust in our company, that the people that we send in their home, they can feel safe and trust them, that we're going to respect their property, that we're going to respect them. And so for me, it's really important to just have that basic understanding, people matter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. You give good answers. My obvious answer is just for repeat business. So if you are coming to the Red Rose expecting a certain type of work and you don't get that, you're not asking us back. You're going to go with somebody else. Also, word of mouth is the best advertisement for us. And so if your auntie told you that the Red Rose is the way to go, and then you find out, we didn't do it the way we did it for your auntie, she's gonna, there's going to be an issue. So just repeat work, routine clients, you get all that from being consistent.
I totally agree. I think part of the reason that we like to drink coffee from Starbucks or eat a hamburger at McDonald's is the same thing every single time. If it wasn't, we wouldn't go there as much because we want to know what we're getting for the money that we spend, and our clients deserve that. Let's pretend that you both have an employee sitting here with us. What would they say that they needed to be empowered to do what we're talking about? From their perspective, what do they need from you guys to really succeed at the home at Mrs. Jones' house tomorrow morning?
When I bring guys in, I tell them from the start, I'm not delegating tasks to you. I'm delegating authority and trust. That really empowers them and helps them to take ownership.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and I've definitely found there's a fine line between like micromanaging and making sure someone is following direction. So definitely trusting your employees, but making sure that you have set the expectation like you were talking about in like orientation through handbooks and things like that, so they know what you expect of them on the job and the consistency that you're looking for. But at the end of the day, you hired them for a reason. You have to put that trust in them, and I think that really empowers them to do a good job for you.
So our listeners are thinking, yeah, that sounds great, but it's hard. My dad used to say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If a listener today sets out, okay, I want to start doing some more processes. I want to start having some more consistent results because it matters. What are they going to come up against, and how do they overcome it?
Yeah, I will kind of circle back to the why. I think one of the hardest things is to get someone else to treat your company as you do, right? They're not the owners. So like, why would they want to deliver the same results that you do? Do they really have like skin in the game like you do? Maybe it's through incentives or figuring out kind of like what makes them tick and making sure you provide that for them on the job so that they can do a really good job for you. But I think that's one of the biggest hurdles I've come across. Like, what do they need to get from you in order to do a good job? And it's difficult.
Yeah.
Also, I think people can get kind of caught up in the thought of bringing in people and growing their team and trusting people, and they get intimidated, and maybe there is like some perfectionism. And what I aim for is excellence. Like, I understand we're not going to be perfect. There's going to be some things that we have to get better at. And, I don't expect perfection from the guys that I hire. But what I look for is like someone who's teachable, who has a good attitude. So it's like I'm going to bring them in and I'm going to entrust them. I'm going to give them my trust, give them the freedom to learn and grow. So when you're bringing people in, you can't expect, there to be like no issues and perfection out of the gate. There's been people where we've made mistakes, but how we've made them feel is what really mattered in the end. Like, did we fix an issue? Yeah, there was an issue, but we had addressed it with integrity. We didn't try to blame, shift, or anything like that. And so I think people remember how you feel more than necessarily being like perfect all the time.
This is great. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll come right back.
We are always driving around. We are a family HVAC business, and we are always in the field. We can't get to an office or a desk a lot of the times. With Jobber, I can quote, invoice, and get paid all on my phone. Access my customer information, job information, and my whole business right on my phone, right at the job site. That just makes running my business a lot smoother.
Smoother from start to finish. Quote, schedule, invoice, and get paid. Start your free trial today at jobber.com.
Kimberly, how does training and onboarding and hiring, how does all that play into what we're talking about?
From hiring, looking for people like you were talking about that are teachable, that are open. We always say I can teach someone how to scrub a toilet, but I can't teach a person how to be a good person, usually at this point in life. So, or I don't have, the time to. So I think that's really important in the hiring process. And then in onboarding and training, just being really specific about what you're looking for and what you expect. And we do shadow shifts to see if people can follow our rules and checklists and see how that works for people.
What helps us too is using Jobber. With Jobber, when we schedule a job, there's a clear scope of work. So the guys have a clear understanding of when they go to the job, this is exactly what we're doing. I love the feature where we can attach forms, kind of like checklist forms. So they can go in there and they can understand, okay, this is what I do as soon as I show up at the job. And then it's just going out there and executing that.
It's important to communicate with people what their job is. And if you don't tell them clearly, it's on you. It's on me. Right? But then if once I do communicate clearly, then it's on them. And they can either soar and do great or they can't live up to it and then you have to let them go. But if we're clear in expectations, that everybody thrives. Right. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Clear expectations and just being in the home services for the time that I have been and having a lot of friends and things like that have service companies as well. I hear a lot of their complaints, like I can't find good guys. I can't get good help. I think it just goes back to like taking ownership and looking at your system and your process. If you don't have a good system and process for doing that and finding those great people, then you're the person to blame. It's not that there's not great people out there. You're just not presenting it in a good way.
Checklists are super important at the Red Rose. We use them for all of our routine clients, and we have specific ways that we clean each room at each client's house. So the checklist will help the staff member know where to start in the room, what to begin with, dust from the ceiling, always go from right to left, circle, and then washing the floors at the end. And it really keeps our staff in line and on time with the job.
One of the things I tell my gutter technicians a lot is that when clients call us, they have high expectations. Not just expectations, they have high expectations of us. How do you make sure that the high standard is met every time? Not almost every time, every time.
I'm always emphasizing that high expectation. Like, we are the Red Rose. There's a reason they chose us over other companies. There's a reason you work for us over other companies. Like, we are set apart. And so I think that's a conversation that we try to have almost every day, is the high expectation that people have. And I think it's empowering and exciting. Like, my staff loves rocking our logo and our name and telling people about us. And then I always go back to this, but follow through. So it's not that I don't trust my employees, and I want them to look over the work that I do too. So just everyone being accountable for their own work while they're on the job, but also we have this team aspect that they can look over other people's work, and it's expected, because when we leave the house, like, that was the Red Rose that did the job. So we want to make sure we put our good stamp on it. Then when the reviews come and they get that good feedback, they're like, oh yeah, that was us. And so it continues to empower them to be held, to high expectations in the future.
I usually try to really emphasize to my team that we all need each other. And by each one of us doing our jobs and doing it with excellence, we're ensuring that we continue to have work, that we continue to be able to bring money in and provide for our families and pay our bills. Maintaining a great reputation is really important for that. We don't want to compromise on our quality and the excellence and the standard that we strive for, because that's how we get more work, through word of mouth referrals and people telling other people about us, leaving us great reviews. And so it's really important for us to deliver on that and just think in a bigger picture. There's all of us here at this company, and we want to work for a great place, and we want to serve people well.
So I know that you use a pre-job form. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
What is that?
Sure. So as soon as a customer schedules their job with us, we send out the booking confirmation. That email that gets sent to the customer has what to expect. Inside of that, there's a form that the customers click on, takes them to our website, where there's a form for them to fill out a couple of questions that we have, like, where would you like us to park? Some HOAs restrict where you can park, like certain sides of the road, or maybe customers don't want us parking in their driveway, so we try to respect that. We'll ask them, like, what restrooms we can use in their home, or if they would like us to, go off-site. We'll ask them, like, where can we wash our equipment? We don't just want to assume that we can use any sink or any hose or use any part of their house. And it just helps us to understand the customer's expectations. All of our customers have different expectations. For one customer, they're like, I don't care, use the bathroom anywhere. And then there's another customer where they're like, I can't believe you use that bathroom. How dare you do that? Or I can't believe you would park there. Why would you think that's okay? And so expectations from customers are constantly changing. So I found that pre-job form helps us to determine that customer's expectations in advance, so that my team can address it properly.
Enables you not to assume anything.
Correct, yes.
And customize it. So clients give you good feedback on that? Like, they like that?
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
like it's great.
Yeah, I mean, we've had customers, come back to me directly and say, wow, I really like that you sent that form, because, it just made them feel even more comfortable with having us come to their home, because I think it also shows that we're thinking about that. We're not just going to treat your home any kind of way. We want to be respectful and, treat your home the way you'd want us to.
Yeah, we're not just going to show up.
Right.
We're actually thinking ahead.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great.
Yeah.
Kimberly, what kind of stuff are you doing?
Someone on our team does a virtual walkthrough with the potential client, and we'll go through every room talking about their problem areas or their expectations in that room, maybe what we would suggest or what we can offer them. And then we also go over things like who will be home, will you leave a key or a code. We also go over like product preferences or allergies, and then have a conversation too. Is there anything else? Did you use a service before and not like certain things that they do?
Love that
What are
question.
those things? Or did you use a service before and did you like things that they did, and what are those, so that we can do those as well. So also trying to understand their expectations. And then with the quote, we attach a new client brochure, which goes over some of our policies and expectations as well, things we do and we don't do. And once they approve that and read our client brochure, then we can go forward with the job.
So a lot of our listeners have had an employee show up to work and they were in a bad mood. What do you guys do in that situation?
I think if I can change the question, it starts before they get to work. So that's kind of a cop-out maybe, but in our orientations with our staff, I tell people, communicate, communicate, communicate. If you woke up or have been up all night because something happened, or you are having a bad day and you think you're going to come to work and give less than what we expect, let me know and just be honest and tell me that. I will come and fill in for you. I'll find someone to fill in for you. So I always try and catch it before the staff member gets to work. And I just think that's by creating that transparency, that communication channel between myself and my staff to make sure they know, okay, if I'm just honest with her and tell her I can't do this today, I can't bring the quality that she's expecting, then I'm just not going to come to work. But not no calling, no showing, or lying about it, or coming to work and giving, something that we as the Red Rose don't, the service that we don't give. So I always try and catch it before.
I can honestly say my guys are really amazing, and I haven't necessarily had to deal with that a ton. I've had to, deal with like situations where guys have had like something personal come up and they have to call out of work. But I just, expect good communication there.
I also think, you obviously want to give amazing service every single time, but we are human and things happen. So again, honesty and transparency, not only with your staff, but with clients too. I would have no issue telling one of my clients, if they receive subpar service, sorry, I just found out, something personal was going on with one of my staff. We're going to try and get ahead of that next time. I really apologize. If you could give us another chance, I'd truly appreciate it. And I think with the way our client base is, they would have no issue with that. So we are all human. We can't be perfect 100% of the time. I think, if you are open with your staff about that too, they want to go the extra mile for you anyway. So just letting them know that you get it.
I think I'll add to this that I think one of the things that I share with my employees, from the start, is an understanding of, from me as their boss, the owner of the company, that I understand that they're people with with issues, and life is not just cut and dry. So I think creating this expectation that it's okay to not be okay, and maybe you're having a rough day, but just communicating about it. I think if somebody feels like they can't talk about it, or they feel like they can't be real, then it becomes a bigger issue. I can say a couple weeks ago, I had one of my lead guys said, hey, I could tell, Kevin was upset today, but he just talked to me about what was going on. We had a great day, but he was clearly upset. Didn't go into details, but the job was still done. The customers were still happy, and things turned out great. So I think there's just having that openness.
I tell my gutter technicians all the time that amateurs let how they feel impact their work. And professionals don't let how they feel impact their work. And we all have bad days. And I care, but who doesn't care? The client. I care. I care about my people a lot.
Yeah.
I care about my clients a lot too.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you are there for your people, and also making sure that we care about our clients too.
Yeah.
And it's a balancing, it's an art. How How do you measure work consistency? Kimberly, we'll start with you. How do you measure it?
I think our number one way right now is just surveys and reviews and hearing from our clients. You know, when we're on the job, we can check each other's work and follow checklists and things like that. But what are people saying about us? Are they saying, yes, we get a consistent result every single time?
We do the same thing. And what I do is with my leads, I train them that when the job is done, they're going to invoice the client, and then they're going to let the client know, hey, we're going to do a walkthrough. We're going to make sure that any concerns that you have are addressed now before we leave the job. And we want to make sure that you receive 5-star customer service. And we want to make sure that when you leave that review, you're going to leave us a 5-star review. If you're not happy with something or there's somewhere where we've missed it, we want to make that right. That's our way of trying to really gauge where our customers are at, but just delivering on that quality over and over again.
I love that. That's a great nugget. I have learned, something I'm learning now actually, is the importance of telling clients before and after that you want them to leave a review. And that gets their mind right.
Thinking about it.
You know, get them thinking about it. So after, Brandon, I know you're a big fan of Nicejob, so am I. You're using Nicejob to get reviews after jobs, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I used to use a company called Bird Eye, and recently transitioned to Nicejob, and it's been amazing. It took me 3 years to get to a certain amount of reviews with Bird Eye, and as soon as I switched to Nicejob, we doubled in a month.
Wow.
So it's just incredible.
It's a great tool.
I need it.
And Kimberly sold.
ready.
Kimberly sold. Any other thoughts on how do you measure work quality? You guys have any other ideas on how to measure that?
The other thing I was going to say that we do, which is really kind of easy with cleaning, is before and after. So my staff is required to send before and after pictures on each job they have so that I can see with my own eyes. They're great, of course, for like social media and promoting us, but to see that, you know, the stove is cleaned up to the Red Rose standard every time, because I saw what it looked like before and I see the work that you did and what it looks like after. So
I would add to this, like, having minimal callbacks. It's great to be able to like go in and you finish painting and everything looks great. But part of painting is not just having this great looking end result, but it's also the longevity of that coating. So we offer our customers a warranty. So minimizing how many warranty calls that we have. In the 6 years that I've been in business, I can maybe recall 2 or 3 for warranty work, like going back and redoing something. So I think gauging that, like knowing that, okay, I didn't just make it look nice, but I also did it right.
This was a great conversation. Let's summarize it. So the first one was the importance of systems and checklists for accountability and consistency purposes. Number 2, training people and hiring good people. Care about them and make sure that you're developing them into better and better employees. And the third one was caring about our customers' preferences. Everybody has different expectations, and just assuming that everyone's the same is a recipe for disaster.
absolutely.
That was a great show. Thank you guys. Brandon, Kimberly, your businesses are having huge impact. Your clients are getting great service. How can people learn about you?
I am at The Red Rose MN on Instagram and Facebook.
So you can find me on Instagram, Brandon Sewell. On there, you can find my business page and link to my website for other socials and things like that.
Awesome. If you like today's episode, please like and subscribe to the podcast and listen to wherever you listen to podcasts, or visit jobber.com/podcast.